to Crew Life at Sea podcast. Here, we will share the skills you need to make your experience and adventure out at sea a success. Hear inspiring stories from experienced crew from all diversities. Gain knowledge and know your rights. Be part of the Crew Life at Sea. And let's welcome your host, Raymond CRYSTAL.
Hi, welcome guys, welcome to the show. So today I'm actually in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The ship is docked. I left the ship. It's like nearly 7:30 in the evening. San Juan is rocking with people everywhere, children, pumping. Very nice place. And I decided that with this extra time, why don't I sit down somewhere, have a look at the ocean and the boat, ship, my big ship over there, and tell you a little bit about my life, how I got into the cruise industry and the journey that I took. So it started all around about 2001. I was living in Johannesburg and I was in my dad's cobbler shop, sitting there on this little stool with my back to the wall, reading this paper, The Citizen, it's a Johannesburg newspaper, and it said there, work on a cruise ship, call this number now. So I was like, why not? At that time I was with a bad crowd and I was young and dumb and just doing crazy things. So I decided to go for it. So I applied as a waiter. They offered me an assistant waiter because I did have a little bit of experience with working as a waiter before. So I got the job. Went for an interview, the whole process, got my air ticket and all of that. And they sent me to the first ship. And I worked there for 4 months and I did such a good job as an assistant waiter because we speak English and we were hard workers, South Africans, and it wasn't that difficult to get a raise it wasn't difficult to get a promotion. So on the 4th month they offered me a waiter and I accepted, and then I did that for 2 months, and it was around January 15, I remember, was my sign-off date. And at that time the guy who was working in the broadcast was signing off, and he was leaving for an emergency and they needed somebody. And at that time I tried to either go for IT or broadcast. So I decided to go for broadcast. And I went to the broadcast manager. His name was James Britt from New York. Very nice guy. I've known him for many years. He will be on the show one of these days, I hope, if I can get hold of him. And he said, what do you know? I said, I know Photoshop. He goes, good enough, okay. So he prepared all the interdepartmental transfer papers. We got it all sorted out, we got it signed, and instead of me signing off on that day, January 12 or 15, I had to stay another 2 more months, but in broadcast as an assistant. It was so difficult because at that time I was ready to go home. My brain was like, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna be with the family, I'm gonna sleep late nights and have so much fun, and I had to stay 2 more months. So it was very difficult, and the worst part of it was I didn't know the job at all. On ships, what they do is they throw you in the deep end sometimes, and you just go. You got to do what you got to do, and if you fall, you got to get up, and if you fail, you got to try again, and eventually you just start to learn. So, man, I won't forget the shows. I used to run a show full. The theater was full, and the cruise director would say, "All right, and now ready for the video, or ready for some video." And as she said that, I had to push this button to play a video and put it on the air, and I used to stuff up everything. And in the beginning, the first month, I made a lot of mistakes, but after that, I was good as gold. Assistant broadcast is you do all the dirty kind of work. You do all the camera work. You go do camera work. You do the setups. You do all the stuff on the TV. You get a compass kind of a thing that tells you what's going on in the day, and you got to go and edit that every night. You got to change the movies over every night. You got to put the movies on the system. It's a lot of repetition work. You got to make sure that everything's playing at the right times. At those times, we didn't have these things that fired. It's called an iris machine. You put in a scheduled time and it just fires automatically. So we had to go and push play and set little times, and we weren't sure that they would even fire those days. We had just VHS machines, I remember. So after that, I got offered another job, and I accepted this offer immediately. The wage was just amazing. But the way I got this job was really funny. I applied for it. They gave me a contract. They offered me a contract, and then I accepted it. And then they got back to me and said to me, "No, we're not giving it to you. We've given it away." So what I did, I was not going to that stand. I sent emails to the CEOs, the EEOs, whatever you want to call, and I gave them a page and a half of what I thought and how they can do this, and and this is not right, and blah blah blah. I think a couple of weeks later I got a reply. They were apologizing and they said, yeah, we're going to offer you another contract, proper contract. So I went on that ship, and that ship, the broadcast was, wasn't so updated. It was also old, and I worked with a lot of good people there. The job there was the same. You had to take the camera, go film the people, film the cruise director. Then the cruise director left, you had to refilm the new cruise director, put them on TV. You had to, excuse the noises, I'm in the middle of the road here, sitting in San Juan looking at the ocean, giving you my little lowdown. And there's a biker there trying to show off his little vroom vroom. So yeah, and where was I? And there you had to edit, so you had a lot of editing to do. You had to do commercials, you had to make wine videos, you had to do so much. It's just the basic editing and broadcasting. Media, audio, visual, that's all you ever do. And it's not that much of a hard job if you know your job. And on the way, I self-taught myself. I was watching videos and learning, and because I didn't know much and I didn't want to fail, so I learned and I picked up things on the way. And on the way there was a lot of, what happened on the way. They didn't have a position for me to come back. I lost my rotation. So I had to come back as a social host for 2 months in order to get back into broadcast. This was the worst thing I ever did, but it was the only way to get back in. So I did it. Can you imagine? I came back on board as a social host, and I had to go for dinners with the old solo women that are single, like age 80 something. I had to say trivias, like 15 trivia questions with all these old people during tea time. I had to play games with them, shuffleboard and bingo and all these things, and be there and talk in front of them. I was so shy. It wasn't me. I remember when I was doing trivia questions, I'd say the word ship and they thought I'd say shit. And they were like complaining. I'm like, no, it's just my accent. It was crazy, man. Excuse me. So eventually, after those 2 months, they sorted it out, and then I went back into broadcast. And then I completed I think about 5 years there, roundabout. And then I said, I don't know, after like 5 years or so, I started to get bored of a company, unless there's no more drive for me. I've done everything, I've created everything, everything's just normal. So I decided, I think then I went to, it was Disney Cruise Line. I got a job offer on Disney, and I accepted that immediately because I've always wanted to see Disney. Wow, what an experience to work on Disney Cruise Line. All the magical stuff and the shows and the characters and the pyrotechnics and the audio and the visuals and the broadcast center was so high class, high end, unbelievable. If I had to recommend a cruise line, that would be the one. They took care of the crew. They gave us so much percentage, 35% off on their goods. We used to buy whatever you want. Your children could get such good things for such cheap prices. It was really, really worth it. Their shows were outrageously amazing. They would have villain shows, believe shows, and all the villains would come on, and it was amazing. But there you have to run cameras. There's 2 cameras on each side of the theater. You have to run a proper broadcast camera on tripod, and it's connected into the switcher, which is aired on the side screens. And there you got to also edit a lot as a broadcast manager. But on Disney, I wasn't actually a broadcast manager. The job title was video editor and motion graphics designer. And there I had to do a lot of commercials and what else? Just anything needed to be filmed and videotaped, and they had these TV screens outside each venue with content, and you had to also update that content. It was a little bit different. You had to also film all the lectures, because they would have these lectures that came on, and you have to film those. So yeah, that was Disney. They have their own island. It's really cool. Nice cold castaway key. Then from there I went to Princess Cruise Lines, and there I was a production manager. And there I was there for about 4 years. And there I had my own little venue, which was called not Studio B, that was in Royal Caribbean. It was called Princess Live. It was 2 cameras with 2 camera guys. I had a sound guy, I had a lighting guy, and I was the switcher. And we had shows there every night, like marriage match, game show, where they'd bring on couples and they'd have to, tell each other what's their favorite color and all these silly things, and they'd have game shows and all kinds of things. That was the only lounge I had to run, so there wasn't like the others, and it was actually very, very easy, very nice. The benefits that I had as a broadcast manager, I had always a single cabin. It was always big, it was always nice. I always get my laundry done for me. My cabin steward always comes in, does my cabin, cleans it every day, gives you new towels every day, make sure your cabin's clean. You eat in the office a mess, okay? And on Princess, when you eat in the office a mess there, you go in there, it's like you sit down and you get a waiter that, there's no waiter, but you go there in the corner there and the guy's taking orders, and you order off the menu what the guests order, and then they bring you the food. And you get free ice cream, you get everything's free. You get alcohol, you can eat for free there, drink. You can have coffee for free, proper cappuccinos. They really also high class with the officers there. They also take good care of you there. And it was actually a very nice company, Princess, very nice. So from there I decided to try something else, and I came to, actually I lie, I remember I worked for 2 months on a company as a broadcast editor, but there I just couldn't hack it, and I resigned after 2 months. I had to work in a little 2x2 room with no AC, and I had my little editing computer there, and it was just disastrous. Actually I was actually a photographer, but I had to do the editing of a video where the guests run around and you see them doing all their shows, and they're like doing sexy legs competitions and all, and you have to film them and you got to edit it and you got to put it on this video, you got to sell it to them, and you make a little percentage. But the conditions there were terrible. I was in a little 2x2 and I didn't enjoy it. I'm sure they've changed it now, because it wasn't it wasn't at all enjoyable to work. So yeah, that was that. And then just checking the time here. Okay, I've got time. Maybe the ship sails without me and I'm stuck here and you never get to see me again or hear from me. Now my current ship that I'm on is not bad at all. It's got good pay, same kind of benefits, but I would recommend to everybody that you would at least try to get on a ship once in your life and experience it. If you don't like it, you finish the contract, you leave. If you don't like it, you really can't handle it, hand in your resignation and leave. But I will teach you all the tricks and the trades and everything you need to know about leaving the ship if you don't want to be on the ship, staying on the ship if you want to stay on the ship. I know all of it. I can tell you everything. I've been through it all. I haven't told you everything on here yet, because I don't want to give you all the good stuff all at once. But there's a lot that you don't know that you need to know. Like, for example, medical issues. Sometimes the people on the ships, they've been at sea for so long, they know how to manipulate the crew into making the crew believe that it's this way, but it's actually not that way. I've got a lot of stories to tell you. For example, the day you get fired or you lose or something goes wrong, they would force you to pay for your air ticket to go home. But in reality, you don't have to, and you don't even need to. Because when they hired you, it's their duty to return you back to where they hired you, no matter what. That's their responsibility. And if you don't want to pay for your air ticket, you don't have to. What they're going to do, you just say to them, I'm going to stay in my cabin, and when you're ready to send me home, you come and get me, and that's it. You stay in your cabin. They're going to send you home. There's nothing that they're not going to leave you in the cabin, and they're not going to put you in jail, and they're not going to say to you, well, stay there. They don't want you out. Once you're out, you're out. And then I will tell you guys also about hearings, if you get into trouble, warnings, how that works, alcohol abuse, harassment. There's so much to talk about, but I really want you guys to put in the notes or email me. Rather email me and tell me what you want to know, and I will follow up and explain to you and make an episode on all the things that you need to know. My whole vision here is just to help all of you to get that job and get on and pursue it and complete it and make your money and be happy and successful and use the money wisely and learn from all the mistakes that we have made. Even if you're going to make them, it's fine, but at least you can take it in a different direction. It's worth it. And if you just do a few little things that I could advise you, you would be a step ahead of everyone. And at the end, you will be so grateful, so happy, because you've learned from experienced people. I wish I did something a long time ago that somebody told me, but I never listened. Today I would be so well off. I would be on top of the world. I would have been so... But you know what? Maybe I wouldn't have been in this situation doing this podcast. So I have no regrets at all. But all I'm saying is that if I had a little bit of advice and I wasn't so one-minded, I think things would have been better. And the big question that everybody gets asked, mine, most shocking thing that I ever saw was, it was 5 minutes to New Year. We were all in the crew bar, drunk as hell, and we hear bravo, 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 location, back of the ship, somewhere there, and everybody's carrying on dancing and partying. All of a sudden the alarm goes off, go to your muster. So we have to go to our muster. People taking booze with them, going to get their life jackets. It was crazy. We all in our muster stations. I remember mine was near reception area, and I'm listening to what's going on the walkie, and I hear the guys going, you got to try to put out the fire, and the one's going, no, you hold ya, and they're just screaming, and you hear the blip 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 like the walkie talkies, and it's serious, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and everybody's drunk, and the New Year happens, and people are screaming, yeah, happy New Year, while these guys are attacking a fire at the back of the ship and going crazy. And then I think after 1 hour of standing around, they eventually killed the fire, and we were released from our positions. The next day we went and we found out what happened was somebody had flicked a cigarette from their cabin, a guest, and the wind blew it and came back in at the back of the ship and caught on one of those they have these little tins with the jelly inside, or fire jelly. You light it and you put it under the food, and it keeps the food warm. And it got into that, and it lit that, and that thing started the fire, and right there next to it were like 10 propane tanks. So that next day, when the ship had to go dock, obviously, because it needs to get checked and repaired and paperwork, the back was all burnt to it was a disaster. It was crazy. So that was one of the most shocking things I'd ever seen. But there's many things that will happen on your journey. I pray that nothing serious will ever happen, because it's just not worth it. But you mustn't be scared. You must take the journey, take the trip, and you just go for it. The lifestyle is amazing. The people you meet, the girls, the boys, whatever you want to say, it's amazing. Nowadays, people want to do it because it's such good money. You don't make this type of money back at home because it's a sacrifice. You leave your family. Like all these people I've spoken to, if you have a family, this is the hard part. But you have to sacrifice in order to make your family happy in a way. And it's only for 4 to 6 months. If you do it like a year, 2 years, and you save all your money, and you really save a certain portion, when you get back, you don't have to do it anymore. You can start up a business, and you don't have to go back. Or you can be an idiot like I was and spend all your money and don't save a cent and just enjoy your life, and then keep coming back until you're like 105. Nah, it's not going to happen for me anymore. I'm creating this to help people, and then after a while I'm going to stop ships, but I will keep continuing to give you the content that you need. I will interview everybody and anybody that has the experience that can help us get you through your life at sea. And if you're on the ship and you still need help while you're on the ship, I'm always here to help. Send me an email. Ray, listen, I'm in a situation, this is happening, what do I do? I'll tell you exactly. Ray, I'm on the ship, I'm about to leave, they won't give me my money. Or Ray, I'm about to leave the ship and I want to stay longer, or anything. I want to change departments. What do I do? How do I go to another ship? Whatever you want, just keep asking me. I'm here to help and assist for as long as I can. If I can't, I will find the resources for you. I have a lot of contacts. I have a lot of friends in the cruise industry, and I have a lot of contacts also when it comes to hiring. So I'm not saying that I'm guaranteeing anything, but there is a possibility. There's a big possibility if I can start to grow and get all of you guys to send emails to me, get a part of my community, and start to spread the knowledge and people start to see that I have a lot of you all climbing into this community, I can start getting recruiters and start helping recruit you guys and teach you everything. And another thing, you should never pay to be recruited. If anybody wants to offer you wants cash from you, don't do it. It's all free. I've created a website. It's www.CREWLIFEATSEA.com. I've put all the sites, online applications under services. You just click on there and all the cruise lines are there. You just click on the picture, it'll send you straight to the online application for that company, fill it in, boom, you're one step ahead. I've also got the agents where you can go to the approved agents. I only do the approved agents and the legit people. I'm not taking any backdoor, any crazy stuff. Everything that I have on my site is legit and 100%. So I encourage you to try to get on a ship. Also, there's a lot of things that can happen, like you need to be home for a little bit longer and your contract says you have to be back in 2 months. There's so many ways and means of things that can come up that you have no idea how to handle. So please always email me. I'm going to get back to you with answers. And I think that's about it. I don't do this normally. I'm still new to this, with this podcasting, talking, telling people these things and getting to know you guys. I mean, if some of my podcasts, I'm very nervous, so please don't think I'm transparent or fake or anything. It's just the beginning. I'm still trying to get the hang of things. But after a couple of podcasts and after I've interviewed a few people, you'll start to see that I'll really come out and be myself, which I am, but with you now, because I'm alone. I'm not stressed with anybody here, and I'm telling you the real deal about everything. So don't be shy. Just hit me up with an email, and I will be there to help you guys. If there's anything you need, just put it in the heading or whatever you want, and I will search for you as best as I can. And I really hope you have a good time out at sea. Thank you for being a part of Crew Life at Sea. I truly hope that we will become successful in recruiting thousands of you all at sea and making you all know your rights and not get pushed around because you're a new hire and you don't know what's going on. At least you know what's going on. You get on there and nobody can tell you what you can and can't do when they know you not know anything, so they know they have the power to push you to areas that you don't know. But that's not going to happen because I'm going to inform you and you can stand your ground. So without anything else I have to say, I think it's enough blah 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 blah. I think it's enough of me mumbling away. If you'd like me to do another episode like this with just me telling you more about certain things, I'll be more than welcome. Just put it in the comments and then I'll know, or send me an email and I will try to make all your requests. And thank you very much, guys, once again, and safe journey. Ciao.
Thanks for listening to Crew Life at Sea podcast. Want any of your questions answered? Send us an email at CREWLIFEATSEAinfogroup.com. Thank you for being a part of our adventure at sea.